Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kicks and Curb podcast, a podcast that unites checkered flags and offside flags. Speaking of checkered flags, last week was Monza, and kind of have to say that it was a very, very, very boring race. And I think this season in general, considering how 2024 went and like kind of like the promise of what 2025 could have been, has been kind of like a big letdown. And not in terms of just like the McLaren dominance in this season, right? Good on McLaren. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan. Of course, I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan, so I unfortunately now have to support Ferrari. But yes, it's amazing the way McLaren have turned their car around, and the fact that they have two nailed on drivers who are so closely matched to each other. So I love it for them, but there are so many things in this season that are just plain boring. Like it's just not engaging at all to me as a fan personally. I will talk about. I'll talk about Monza and everything that happened or kind of did not happen. But I just want to say, if you have been up, like subscribed to the channel, because of our F1 episodes, I am so sorry. But like we currently are finding it very, very, very difficult to be able to enjoy 2.5 3 hour 2.5 hour race. It's supposed to be 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hour race. Oh my god, it feels so long, even though I think technically, I think, isn't this supposed to be like the fastest Monza race? But I digress. um um, we're finding it very, very, very difficult to be able to sit um through the race and then kind of even come up with the things that we want to talk about, and not sound like just bitchy moany people, because it's not it's not the best. Because in no way can you justify to me that a medium tire is supposed to last 45 laps in a race that has total of like 53 laps. Like that's just like one stop strategies are just not cutting it anymore in an era where the cars are so heavy that you cannot overtake even on speedy racy tracks that are more conducive to overtaking. And then you have a medium tire that is going to last 40 45 laps. There's no jeopardy. Nothing at all in in like trying to. No, we'll get to the McLaren team orders of it. So my point is, if you have subscribed to us because of Formula One content, I am truly wholeheartedly sorry. But it just, even though when we do watch races and our post race chat is usually about how mind numbingly boring that race was, as the exact same conversation after Monza. So I just want to say that there is a possibility that we might not have a lot of F1 content coming out for the rest of the season, unless once the championship, the drivers' championship is wrapped, then maybe we do like a cumulative review or something like that. But like literally, the thing's just not registering to me. We did not even do like a Dutch GP review as well because of the exact same reason. Don't get me wrong, I think the Dutch GP was more entertaining than Monza, but it still took away. And I'm not saying this was by design, but it took away any jeopardy of like any role of strategy that could be playing during the sorry during the pit stops that the teams could have made because of the safety cars. And of course, I'm not saying that it was like planned this way or anything of the sort, But yeah, then it was just like, oh, people who pitted before safety car are kind of like, yeah, they lost out, and everybody else was like, yeah, we won. And yeah, it's just, and I think I read somewhere where Stefano Domenicali was talking about how we need to make races shorter because audience are not engaged. And I don't think that it helps, because I'm not interested in sprints as well. I don't watch practice anymore, of course. There was a time when I used to, but now I don't anymore, because largely I don't think that practice sessions give us as fans, as viewers, anything. It's mostly about teams collecting their data, trying their runs, and learning about tires, formulating, collecting data to be able to formulate their strategy and prepare for the race weekend. So I get it when I think his proposed ideas were to remove practice sessions and also to shorten the length of the race. Now, I feel like that is not going to solve any problem. I'm going to speak on it from my point of view as a fan. What what is more what is most interesting to me while watching a Formula 1 race is the strategy, the pit stop, the way, kind of mid-table teams are trying to perform and trying to gain advantages over the top teams, the wheel to wheel racing. And like, I'm not seeing that, because if the medium tire is lasting 45 laps, how are you going to have anything like for 80, 85, 90% of the race you've done on the same tire, and like remaining 8 laps, when the driver on the first, when Max Verstappen in Monza, amazing race by him, by the way, an incredible pole lap, when he is like 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds ahead of you, you're not going to be able to do jack shit with 8 races to go. And like, I was literally watching. So I think there was one driver who started on softs, and I think the soft tires worked for around 8 to 10 laps. But with the caveat that because he started on the soft, it was full load of fuel. Mm, because it's the starting of the race and the grid is kind of more compact, and you're fighting to keep your positions and everything, you are going to drive much more harder than what you were towards the end of the race. So surely, if at the start of the race the tire has lasted for a good 8-9 laps, which we also don't know, could have been an attempt to go for an undercut. Since medium can last for 45 laps, I'm pretty sure the hard can as well. And I think he went on, I don't remember who the driver was, but I think he went from soft to hard. Should have just gone on medium. Would have been fine for the rest of the race. But if if McLaren wanted to do anything about it, about trying to get one of their drivers to win the race, why are you not gambling anything else? And we'll get to the team order side of it. So, and this is the reason why it is not entertaining anymore, because like the first couple of laps everybody's trying to make moves and try to like overtake and this that, and there comes a time when everybody is kind of like accepted this is what our position is going to be, and now we're going to complete the races, complete whatever the mandatory minimum pit stops that we need to do, and then go home. And that is not fun. And so for me, as a F1 fan, that does not add value. You can show me a race that is 2 hours long. If it has all of that drama of, if it has all of that drama, then yeah. And like, not just drama, just elements of strategy. Like, I want to watch people do innovative things, just something out of the blue. I just want somebody to do something but it's usually just like that one kick Sauber or Haas trying something radical, and it works in their favor or it does not work in their favor. But like in a one stop strategy where it's going to be either medium or hard, or hard or medium, there is nothing. There is literally nothing. There is no reason also to try anything. And I was literally sat in front of my TV around from like lap 40 or something, and I'm just getting frustrated. I'm like, well, if you are you just accepting, McLaren, that you don't want your drivers to go for a win? Because like you still need to give them time if they want to catch up to Max. Like you get on soft tires, and there are only two things possible. One, Max has to react, like Red Bull reacts to their pit stop and they also put Max on another set of soft or something like that. Or he stays out with the hopes that he is able to defend against them because they will be driving hard to gain up all of that time. But you gotta give them enough laps. So, but again, this is what I'm saying. Like, McLaren don't care, or maybe the drivers didn't think there was any point in trying to go for that win, since the constructor is already wrapped and it is between Lando and Piastri for the drivers. But yeah, there is no more fun, there is no jeopardy, there is no team trying to do. I cannot believe I have missed the fact that George Russell used to do n-1 number of stops if the number of pit stops required for a race was n is greater than 2. Like it used to be his go-to move. He's done it countless number of times. Like in Spa last year, I think the year before that it was in Suzuka. He was just like, let me just do one less stop and try to see if something works. But like nobody is doing that. Even the mid-table teams, they're not taking that much risk. So for me, shorter races are not in any way, shape, or form an improvement on this current race format, because we know what happens in sprint races. It's the exact same thing. First 4 or 5 races, you are going to try and make up positions, and then it's done. Whatever tire the grid is starting on, be it hard, medium, soft, it's going to last for the entirety of that race, because it is only a third of the race distance. Mostly it is mediums or hards that these teams start on, because if the soft cannot last that much, you don't want to pit when the points are only given out to the top 8. And there are like with the sprint races, there has been a lot of experimentation that has gone on. I think they were introduced in 2020. I don't know about 2020, but 2021 they was definitely there. So previously what used to happen was there was a practice session on Friday, then you have a qualifying, then a practice session on Saturday, then you would have the sprint race, which was based on the qualifying, and then the result of the sprint race would go on to set the grid for the race. And that, in my opinion, was a better format, because there is some element of play here where you're tying it to the race. And like from a spectator point of view, I get it with why the new format would be better, because you get more competitive sessions, because you only have one practice session and the teams have less amount of time to be able to collect all of the data and blah blah blah, everything that they pick up over the course of 3 practice sessions, they have to do it in one. So, and there are more competitive sessions which are much more enjoyable than practice sessions, cars go room, all of that, right? I think the previous format of like kind of not making Saturday kind of like sole sprint thing, where there is a qualifying, then there is a race, and boom, you're done. I don't think it has added much, because like at least then there was jeopardy. They removed the Q2 tire rules, which I think we've talked about in one of our episodes. I think that was a good rule, and I don't see the point of removing that rule, because it again, because then what happens is the element of strategy for the race starts playing out from qualifying. So the Q2 rule was that if when you are competing, so like the top 15 teams, when you're competing in Q2, if you've set a time that has gotten you to Q3, whichever compound of tire you've set on, you have to start your race on that compound. So what used to happen was a lot of top teams would kind of be, if they want to start the race on mediums, would be like, okay, we are going to take a gamble and try to get the best possible time on a medium that is enough to get us to Q3. And then the mid-table kind of teams would be like, okay, it's our chance to be able to start much more ahead on the grid, even though it means that we have to start on a soft tire. And that used to be so much more interesting, because now you have locked in a kind of, I would not call it a handicap, but it's like now you're forcing teams to do things different. So even if there are teams who are starting on, let's say, soft tires under that rule, there are still elements of different ways that you can play strategy. And the fact that there was a clear demarcation between the difference of the compounds was, and like tire management actually did mean, like we used to be like really 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 impressed when our driver has been able to make a tire last for much 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 longer. And the fact that in Monza, the hard tire, the new hard tire versus an old used medium that the drivers were running, there was an advantage of like just 3.5 tenths. It's not enough to create a good engaging race. So like um these measures to have more viewers engaged in Formula One racing, to me, it doesn't solve the problem. Because at the end of the day, you're just deciding on the lengths of time where we see cars go room room. Everything else is moot. Because the cars are still heavy, the tracks are still narrow, you still can't overtake, that there is no tire differential. And if you make the car shorter, there is no, then you're going to have some mandatory pit stop bullshit, and it doesn't work. It actually does not work. We've seen it in Monaco. When you have a mandatory pit stop, and maybe Monaco might not be the best um thing, like best example to talk about it, but even I think it was tried in Qatar in 2024 or 2023. I don't know, one of the 2 years, because of the conditions in Qatar and because there were a lot of accidents that happened, they mandated the number of pit stops that needed to be done to ensure that teams are not trying to gain an advantage by running tires too long. And there was one optimal strategy, and everybody ran that. And because it's a MotoGP track, that race again was hella boring. The only jeopardy in that race was that the drivers were so severely dehydrated that they might have crashed, because they are always going to be like, no, I can still do it, and this, that. Wasn't like, was it Logan Sargent who was almost collapsing? Yeah, so that was the jeopardy, which is the worst kind of jeopardy to have in a Formula One race. Like, you should never have this kind of thing where, like, teams are incentivized to have lesser water on because they have to save weight, because the cars are so heavier and gain any sort of advantage. Like, it's the wrong way of trying to create jeopardy. So mandatory pit stop does not work. Short form racing does not work. To me, it's just try and it cannot be this difficult to realize what the actual problem is in this sport. And now let's come to the other reason why I think that while this championship could be good between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, why McLaren is even taking the fun out of that. So now we all know what happened, okay? Max is leading. For their pit stops, Lando was running second, Oscar was running third. And for the pit stops that McLaren had to make, of course, Lando being second should have been given the preferential strategy. Now, Lando on the radio first offered if for the team game it is needed, he is okay if Oscar is pitted first so that we can cover off Charles, who was running in fourth. Now, I don't listen. It's no secret that I don't love Lando Norris. I think that it was unnecessary of him to offer this because the constructors is wrapped. There is nobody touching McLaren in terms of constructors. Constructors is wrapped. Nobody is getting closer. No other team is consistently fast enough. Like, I think if you remove McLaren from the grid, it is going to be more like the 2024 season, where there's going to be some racetracks where Mercedes is better, some where Ferrari is better, some where Max is going to do something magical in the Red Bull. I don't think there is a clear cut given second best car as of right now. It's very track dependent. So the constructors is wrapped up. That is why I think that it was very unnecessary of Lando to be like, hey, team this, that, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to do that. Your constructors is already wrapped up. Right now, you're willingly giving an advantage to your driver's championship rival. And I get it, he's your teammate and everything, but you don't need to play the team game because the constructors is already wrapped up. It doesn't matter which order the McLarens finished. It was very clear from their strategy that they have accepted the fact that they won't be able to catch up to Max. So it is going to be 2 or 3. To McLaren as a team, it doesn't matter if Oscar finishes second or if Lando finishes second. And I know Lando fans and Oscar fans are having it out on the social media, and frankly, I don't care. So I don't know why he offered, but he also did caveat it by saying that only and only if it is 100% absolutely necessary, only then am I saying that sure, go and pit Oscar before me. Otherwise, I would want the preferential strategy. This is the conversation they have with Lando. Then McLaren call Oscar into the pits. 1.9 seconds, beautiful, perfect stop. Oscar comes out. Then comes in Lando for his pit stop. It's a slow stop. It's like 5.9 seconds, I think, or something. So he loses a good 4 seconds in the pit lane, and he comes out behind Oscar Piastri. Now, again, I have to caveat it by saying that I'm no fan of Lando Norris. I do not like his personality, and therefore I do not like him, and I 100% wholeheartedly want Oscar Piastri to win this championship. If it is going to be between two of them, which it looks like it is going to be, I want Oscar Piastri to win the championship. Now, what McLaren do is, because Lando has come out behind Oscar Piastri, they go to Oscar and they're like, so Oscar, this is kind of like what happened in Hungary last year, and we are requesting you to, swap positions. And Oscar says that I don't get it because slow pit stops are a part of racing. So I don't understand why I need to give my position back. But if that is what the team wants, I will do it. And then he does. The reason I am so pissed about that is because McLaren didn't need to do it. I think in Monza, Lando was by far the better driver between the two of them. It was very, very, very evident. He came out behind Oscar Piastri, but he was gaining on him rapidly. If Oscar had thrown a tantrum for like 2 more laps, it wouldn't have mattered because Lando had more than enough pace in him to be able to what do you say, overtake Oscar by himself. And like I have bitched about him, like waiting so long to kind of give the position back to Oscar and everything, but like McLaren didn't need to do it. And I agree with Oscar. McLaren didn't need to pit Oscar first. McLaren also didn't need to give these team orders because Lando had more than enough pace. So, like, right now you're trying to manage this in terms of keeping it fair, but you're taking it away. Listen, I do not want the shit of the past with like Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. I'm not saying that. But like you can't manage everything. What now you're going to force Oscar to DNF in a race because Lando DNF'd in Zandvoort? You cannot be like you cannot try to manage a championship this much because what I, at least as a fan, want to watch is to watch two title rivals fight with each other. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. And but like in Monza, wouldn't even have been a fight because I think Lando had far more pace than Oscar in during the race in Monza. So like it wasn't even needed. But again, it's this thing of like, oh, we have to keep it fair. We have to keep it fair. We have to keep it fair. I don't get it, man. Like shit, pit stops are a part of racing. Penalties are a part of racing. In Silverstone, when Oscar did get his penalty and everybody thought that it was unfair and everything, they didn't swap the cars then. Even then, at that race, I was like, you didn't need to pit Oscar. And if he's able to have that buffer over Lando, well, fair play to him. If not, either way, he finishes second. But give the guy a chance to fight for his position. But again, like you can't manage it this much. Like we want to see fighting. This is the only good bit of like Formula One racing that is left, where this is like two closely matched drivers in the same team. This is you're trying this is kind of like the Mercedes 2014 to 2016 era where two drivers in the same team, very good, very close to each other, and now you're trying to manage it so much. Why are you managing it this much? And so like listen, what happened, and you everybody can have their own opinion about it. I'm not going to sit here and say that one opinion is right over the other. My point is that McLaren should not, one, be putting themselves in a position like this. Two, stop trying to manage it so much. I'm not saying to like favor one driver over the other to the extent that it becomes toxic or something like that. And I think that Lando and Oscar both do have decent enough relationship, a good enough relationship where it will not come. And I mean, as I say it, of course, Lewis and Nico were also friends, but I don't think that they are the same kind of people that those guys were. So just stop trying to manage it so much, McLaren. Honestly, it feels like nothing in F1 is now like, doesn't feel forced. And yeah, all of this to just say my thoughts on the race, of course. And while this feels like a very, very, very long wait for football to be back, but yeah, F1 is just not giving us joy anymore. Me personally, it is literally not. Like I think I can just look at a timing sheet and just figure out what is going on in the race. It is just not. I don't see the value of sitting through 2 hours of racing and expect something kaboom will happen. Just like that hope of it, that hope is also getting killed one race weekend at a time. So, yeah, I mean, it's sad because this was supposed to be the last year of this reg, and like this reg was good for overtaking and everything and closely following the cars for like the first 5 races of 2025, and ever since then it has been bullshit. In most regulations, the year before a new regulation comes in is the best point of time to kind of get the closest season ever, and this is just not the case this season. And I'm not taking anything away from McLaren, I'm just saying that the fact that it's not close at all, added the fact that most races are one stop and the tires can never degrade, and then nobody tries anything different. The fact that if it is heavy rain, it is just never, the wets are never going to be used. There's so many things that just take away any kind of variability that can happen during and during a Formula One race. And I miss that, and that is the element that used to make it exciting for me to watch it. And yeah, those are honestly like my thoughts, my frustrations, because I actually really did enjoy watching F1, especially last season was so much more fun because we had this thing of like who's going to win this weekend. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So if you have stuck with us because of our F1 content, I am really and truly sorry. And unless you want us to just bitch and moan about an F1 race, please let us know in the comments if that is what you want. I will watch the race, I will make others watch the race, and then we will record an 30-minute, 35-minute episode on how shit it was. Maybe it could be good. Maybe we do an episode on Brazil because Brazil is always good. So, but most likely, I think going forward until the next season starts, it's primarily going to be football. So I hope you still stay with us. Um, and yeah, um, I just hope that I think there are what 7 races to go. Just hope Oscar wins. I will be most likely concentrating on what Liverpool is doing in football, in Champions League and Premier League. That is what I'm interested in right now. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the let me know your thoughts in the comments about Monza, and I will, if you really want to hear on Formula One from us, let me know. I'll try to do some like short form content after a race weekend. Um, I just don't see the point of doing longer format episodes on races where nothing much happens. If something crazy happens, then yeah, sure, why not? We will have a full-fledged episode. But otherwise, I can just do reels or shorts for that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the race. Let me know who are you rooting for the championship. um yeah, until next time, when football is back. Bye.